Hey guys, this is Oracledaphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to do an interesting reading that I thought of today when I was in the shower, and I was like, I really want to do a reading about broken pieces. It's a theme that I really want to talk about. Um, and the theme has to do with broken pieces overall in general. This is a collective, timeless reading. But um, the theme itself really is going to cover a wide variety of things. It's not just going to be about, okay, you're feeling broken and here are some platitudes. No, we're going to dive really deep into some maybe practical things you can do, things that you need to maybe be aware of, things that are kind of messed up and broken, and look at the mess and look at some of the things that you can do to fix it or heal it. This is keeping in mind, that we all have things in our life that we are working on. Like life is a construction project. So this is really about, okay, diving really deep and looking at things from the bigger perspective of what can we do to facilitate some healing? What can we do that's going to bring us some healing? And what can we do that brings to light something in your life that's broken or damaged? And what are the messages around that? All of the messages that are going to come through are going to be most likely very unique and very different than what I'm expecting and what you're probably expecting. So this is going to be kind of an interesting reading that's different. My guides are like, do a video about hopes, wishes, and dreams. And I'm like, no, I really want to talk about broken pieces. I want to talk about the tough stuff. I want to talk about, get in there and like look at the nitty gritty and be like, okay, these are the things that are going wrong and like what people can do about it. And these are the things that need healing. And really, and sometimes, we go through life and there's something that we're not taking that we should be taking. There's something that we're doing that we're not doing. And it's just one thing. It's simple. So I'm really looking for those things as well. Before I get started, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody who has been supportive of my work. As you guys know, my view count is very low since I don't have my monetization back. All donations are really appreciated and support everything that I do. I'd like to bring back sun signs again for February, but I was not motivated to do them for January. I felt overall kind of low energy, and in general, like I can't justify how much time I'm putting into them. So please, if you can donate, even if it's just $20, means a lot. If you'd like to book a reading, you can book it through PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can also donate via Zelle or my PO box as well. And yeah, I'm ready to jump in. This is like the second time I tried to record. There's been some interruptions. So I actually feel like this is going to be a very blessed reading. And there's some important messages that really want to come through. The first card that I pulled was the Four of Cups. And you can see it's a girl. And there's all these cups in the air. And I feel like this is a time of examining, like, what are your feelings? The cups really talk about feelings. And for some of you, needing to take time and figure out what your feelings actually are. Some of you may feel isolated. And some of you may feel lonely. Some of you may feel like, you're up in your feelings. But in general, this card can indicate being kind of checked out and struggling to cope. And so I had pulled the second card, and we have the Empress here. And the Empress talks about, you can see she's reaching to the sun. And to me, this is like needing to reach out to somebody, reaching out to someone in your community. I was reminded about when I lived in Omaha during the pandemic, how I would go through the Starbucks drive-thru and talk to the people in the food service there. And in 2024, when I was in my car, I really appreciated the community that I built in the coffee industry. I met a lot of people at coffee shops. I talked to a lot of people in food service when I was out. So I feel like for some of you, this is needing to reach out to a friend, needing to reach out to maybe a close family member, needing to reach out to someone in your community. There is a pastor that I love that is at one of the churches here where I live, and I text him if I'm having a really low moment. Like, to me, this is having a low moment, or I'm struggling. I reach out and I text him and I say, hey, can you just please, pray over me? And it usually feels like instantly better. So many of you need to reach out to someone in your community or build up a community. And one of the ways to do that is to go to a coffee shop and spend some time there and be open to meeting people. A lot of times people, they forget to socialize. They have a job and they work out, but they don't really socialize. For some of you, this is needing to socialize and needing to build up friendships and build up your social circle. But I strongly recommend reaching out to somebody that is within your community that is able to give you the support that you need. I also see that, she's got this basket full of fruits and vegetables. And so for some of you, focusing on your diet is going to be a good way for you to cope. It's going to help you cope. Eating more green leafy vegetables. It's interesting. There was this girl that I worked with a long time ago when I lived in Omaha, and she was a diabetic, and she said the one thing that she ate that made her feel really good as far as her blood sugar was like a big salad. So for some of you, you need to really focus on getting more greens into your diet, getting more nutrition. And I also see some of you needing to bake some muffins or pancakes or make something in the kitchen that, maybe make a home cooked meal that's going to make you feel good. There's all kinds of people that do on YouTube that do food. Tish Wonders is one of my favorites. The Happy Pear is another favorite. That are just really inspiring as far as food and what they're making and how they're making it, and just making a home cooked meal. I feel like some of you just need to make a big pot of soup or a pot of chili or something that's going to be comforting, because, to me, the Empress is, Cancerian. And so the Cancerian quality is doing something for you, making something that makes you feel good. It's very comforting, comfort focused. For some of you, this is maybe getting your nails done or getting your hair done or doing some pampering, because Cancerian things are all very there's a pampering element to it. So some of you just need to do that. And it will help is what I'm seeing. What else? Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups here, and the Knight of Cups is very fascinating because this cup is not broken, okay, but this cup is off in the distance, okay. So it's almost like the issue with the Knight of Cups actually is something that's yet to be achieved, or something that you're wanting to have happen. So it's not necessarily an issue of a past issue. This is almost like a future problem, something almost like a carrot that you're chasing, or something that you're you can't quite attain. Is like a piece to the puzzle. It's like putting a piece to the puzzle. For some of you, this is very fascinating. My guides are showing me a piece to the puzzle would be looking at things from a different perspective. Okay. What is a piece to the puzzle? A piece of the puzzle is something that you can't quite figure out, or you can't quite see the whole puzzle because you're missing the pieces, right? It just hasn't come together yet. And to me, there's an element of longing here for something to come together, or something to be achieved or attained. For some of you, the broken piece is something that you did not do. The broken piece is something that you maybe want to do. So for some of you, it's the piece would be going and doing something. For some of you, okay, as an example, for some of you, maybe you didn't finish school, or maybe there's classes that you had wanted to take when you were in school, but you just didn't take them. For some of you, it's you really wanted to get married, but you never did. Or the person that you wanted to marry, you didn't ask. or the person that you wanted to be with, you're not with. Or for some reason, there's something that you haven't done, or something that you have yet to do, or something that you want to do that's missing. And it's a broken piece in the sense that like you just haven't done it yet. Or, it's like my guides are showing me that thing with Spock in the Star Trek movie. Okay, so I don't know if it's Star Trek Beyond. It might have been the 2009 one with Chris Pine. I think that the first one that they did with Chris Pine, where he meets Spock, the future Spock. And future Spock gives Scotty the transwarp equation, how to beam from planet to planet when you're in the air and you're moving, right? And he's like, I didn't even realize. Like, he looked at it and he's like, oh, I never thought of this, but he hadn't figured it out yet. So this is something that the broken piece is something you haven't figured out yet. Like in the future, you'll be able to see the whole picture. But right now, you're missing something. There's something missing that you can't see. And maybe you're not meant to, like, because we're not meant to see everything. But you haven't figured it out yet. And there's some kind of maybe like an awareness issue where you just can't see something yet because it hasn't happened yet. You haven't figured it out yet. You haven't gotten the piece to it yet. I will tell you, okay, from my experience, there's a word of caution here, okay? I don't know how to explain this. The word of caution is sometimes we think something is better than it is. Maybe we put somebody up on a pedestal, or we make excuses for somebody, or we want something so badly that we cannot see the red flags. We cannot see the issues. We cannot see how we are longing for this one cup that's perfect, this ideal partner, or this ideal. For some of you, the broken piece is that there's an idealism in your life, where maybe you were taught you had to have the most perfect person. Like you are searching for Prince Charming, or you are searching for Mrs. Right. And you're missing everybody else. You're missing all of the other opportunities to date all these other people because you want it to be a certain way. And for some of you, it's like you're looking at this one cup. I have this 4 of cups here. There's other cups. There's other opportunities. There's other people to date. There's other things to do in your life. Like it's sort of like also for some of you, the broken piece is like maybe you thought you wanted to become a doctor and it didn't happen. And you were like, okay, I wanted to become a doctor and now my life is over and there's no other opportunities, but there's all these other opportunities. You can go right back out there and become a traveling nurse. You can go right back out there and start working with animals, or, become a vet, or do something, maybe chiropractic care, like you can kind of, a lawyer, you can go off and do other things that might be fulfilling as well. But let's go back to, like, for some of you, the broken piece is your relationships. For some of you, you are so focused on a person. And for feminines, you're focused on meeting the one, meeting the masculine that's ideal, that's got this perfect cup there, that's going to bring in all of the words that you've been longing to hear your whole life. And for men, masculines that are watching, you are looking for the ideal wife, the ideal partner, the needle in the haystack, the person who is absolutely like the grandiose queens of all queens. That's amazing. And the princesses, you know what I mean? You are looking for the best, the cream of the crop. It's so fascinating because there's this one person, content creator on IG, who is in the dating game. And he's always talking about his issues with dating, how there are situationships that are going on, and there's people that are ghosting, and there's people that are in other relationships and don't care about one night stands. And he's just like going on. And then it occurred to me, and I said this in one of my comments to him. I said, your future wife is your best friend. Your future wife is your best friend who you are absolutely ignoring because you're on a quest. And the Knight of Cups is, about the quest. You're on a quest for the perfect person. And, you are absolutely ignoring your best friend and all of the things that you share together and all of the things that you love about each other. And for whatever reason, you can't see it. And for some of you, like, I understand, like, there are people in your life that you just don't have the fire for, or you just don't have, something for, and I get that. But this is where ultimately the person that we marry is ultimately, generally, our best friend. Someone who we let in, someone who we don't have up on a pedestal, or someone who we don't idealize, someone who's, who wakes up and their hair's a mess and their breath stinks and there's clothes everywhere and the garbage hasn't been taken out. And we go about our life with them through thick and thin, in the mess, in the dog hair, and we love them. And it's somebody that you love. And the broken piece for you, those of you who are watching, is you are missing someone who you really love. Someone who is your best friend. Someone who is on your level, who you look at like an equal, someone who's human, someone who wakes up and smells, someone who wakes up and has to pee 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night, someone who's moody when they're on their period, someone who's absolutely like crazy about you. That is the real thing, So that's actually very fascinating, because some of you are really missing that part, I think. Okay, so we have the Magician here, and I want to look at it for a second. Hang on. I want to look at it for a second. Okay, so like the missing piece, the broken piece, it's like there's this hyper attention to work. This hyper laser focus on the one thing you have in your hand. And the broken piece is everything else that's going on that you are ignoring, that you're missing. It's like you are ignoring all of the feathers, and all these little seashells and the light that's right here. And all these birds that like are kind of, pulling on your wings, and you're ignoring that you're sitting on this like gemstone. And that to me represents your inner power, your inner light. You're ignoring yourself. You're ignoring your needs. You're ignoring other people that might be a light for you. You're ignoring maybe messages. You're ignoring everything else in your life. It's like your life is passing you by because you're focused on work. You're focused on one thing. You're focused on creating this one small thing. It's like being in a work tunnel, when I lived in Omaha, I was in a work tunnel. I worked 50 hours a week. I worked 6 days a week. I had 1 day off. That 1 day didn't give me much time or energy to recoup. It was like being in one long tunnel where there wasn't much room for my life. And so for what's broken, what's missing is in some way your life. And I think the whole reason I wanted to do this reading was because I wanted to look at what's missing in your life. And for some of you, it's life. It's living your life. It's going out and doing things you want to do. It's finding a hobby or interest that you pick up that you like. Maybe it's collecting plants. There's this beautiful YouTuber that I watched that she talked recently in her video about, finding hobbies, fostering pets, adopting plants, really getting into pottery, getting really into redecorating her home, meals and stuff like that. All the things that she's gotten into are hobbies. That's her life. Those of you struggling with, I want to say, anxiety, or struggling with any kind of any anxiety related disorder, or feelings of overwhelm, I feel like what you're missing is taking control or power back of your life. Giving yourself time or room to develop some hobbies. Going out and maybe spending some time at Home Depot and looking for things to build, or things to plant, or things to garden with, or things to get organized with. You're ignoring, I want to say, your inner truth. You're ignoring, what it is that you really value. For some of you, this is the missing piece, is you maybe are sitting, you have money to do things, but you're not utilizing it. And at the contrary can be true here. For some of you, the missing piece is you don't have the money to do all the things that you want. You don't have the money to pay all your bills. You don't have the money to buy gifts for other people, to do more in the world, because Empress to me here is showing up here with this card as well. So this is like the broken piece, is that, maybe you want to do more for others, but you're not. Maybe you want to show up in a different way for other people, and you just are not doing it. There's a hyper laser focus here. She's focused on this only. She's not looking at the basket that she already has. So she's not seeing the abundance that she has. I'm being shown like the TV show Christy, where one of the characters, these people live in poverty, but they completely miss the beauty that's all around them. And for some of you, that's realizing what abundance is, the beauty all around you, being grateful for each meal, being grateful for all the things you actually do have. And that's what's missing in your life, is that level of gratitude and understanding all the things that you have. But for some, there is a thing about needing to have maybe more of an income so you can do more for other people. Finding your place in the world so that you feel like, okay, you're not just like a cog in the wheel. You know what I'm saying? For some of you, you have a daily grind. You have a job and you're doing it. But you're missing out on all these other things. My guides are showing me, like Kenny Chesney, when he talked about taking time off, he talked about all the things that he did that he didn't get to do when he was on tour, which was going to all these, fun basketball games, and taking a trip to Italy with his girlfriend at the time. And, just having the things in life that brought him joy, and doing those things, hanging out with family, hanging out with friends. He talked about all the things that he didn't get to do. So for you, the missing piece is all the things that you're not doing because you're so focused on work, or so because you're in a work tunnel, or because you don't have the money to do it. And I'm going to pull one last card, and I have to let you guys go here. There is something about relationships that's missing, which to me is a healthy conversation, healthy dialogue, healthy interaction. There's a lot of he said, she said, going around in circles, cycles, patterns, breaking up and getting back together, ghosting and then texting. There's a lot of things within your relationship dynamics which are missing. I am seeing that's a big, big piece here. I'm excited to see more messages later in time. So I'm going to bring this theme back. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Please drop a heart in the comments if this shows up in your feed. It really helps. I appreciate you guys so much. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.